everyone. I'm back again to share another one of my favorite meditations. This one, I haven't really given it a name. Sometimes I think of it as the still lake. But it is a practice of letting go. So find an easy seat, or even for this one, lay your body down. And just like you would for Shavasana, somewhere that the body can forget its own being. Right, if you're seated, make sure it's an easy place, right? Somewhere that the body can sort of soften into the uprightness. And if you're seated, a tiny or gentle tuck of the chin towards the chest. And pure breathing here. So, right, just maybe like half full. Or even release the breath to that force that rules it in all the moments where you don't usually pay attention. Soften or close the eyes. And now, picture yourself standing at the edge of a large lake. On the other side of the shore is a towering mountain range. The lake is so large you can't actually see the other side. It sort of sweeps way out of sight. And for a moment, look down. So you're standing on the shore. And as you get closer to the water, it's muddy and the earth is soft and rich with scent. And even though the lake is smooth and calm, there is no breeze, right? There's a tiny bit of movement as it touches the shore just in front of you. Almost as if the lake is just gently checking that it's there, over and over and over again. And there's sort of these sea grasses or lake grasses kind of poking up above the surface. Right? And through the air there's tiny bits of dust and pollen and little bugs flitting about. There is that smell of sunshine warming earth and leaves, and yes, now even your own skin. Somewhere inside you there is a memory, a knowing that that is something like the stars and their dust smells. Right, just off to the left, there is a dock. The wood is old and worn and graying. When you bend down to touch it, it is rough and dry. And there is a sense of coolness to it, almost as if it's ignoring the sun. Behind you, leaves dance in the trees. Birds within their depths sing and tweet and chatter. And as you stand, you step first one barefoot and then another out onto that dry wooden dock and pause as it creaks, waiting to make sure it will bear your weight. It will. Step by steady step, you walk out towards the end. Lake spreading out all around and in front of you. So calm, the whole bowl of the sky is reflected there beneath. In the distance, even those giant mountains reaching to the heavens, their peaks white with snow, are also reflected in the lake. So that for a moment you are certain there is an entire world below. And of course there is, but you cannot see it. Slowly you walk further out until you get to the end of the dock You realize the water's still a little shallow there. Glimpses of rocks along the bottom, but nothing clear. When you look down at the end of the dock, there is a stone, large, maybe smooth, maybe rough, maybe light, maybe dark. Maybe it sparkles, or maybe its surface collects the sun and keeps it for itself. You bend down and you pick it up and heave that weight up in front of you as you stand again. I really feel the weight of it. And now I want you to think of something you're holding on to. A thought, a habit, a feeling, a story. Something that's meant to be left behind, to be let go of. Something that doesn't serve you anymore. And standing there, seemingly alone, I want you to press that thing into the rock. Give it away. Get ready to let it go. Even if it's not something clear, maybe it's just a sense of heaviness or negativity or uncertainty. And it's time to move on. You're going to hold that rock out over the water. You're going to pause so that you can really acknowledge you are letting go. And then you are going to open your fingers and let the rock tumble down, crash into the surface of the water, and slip now quietly into the world below and out of sight. You are lighter now. And all that remains of that story in the stone is the ripple that spreads out across the lake as far as you can see, and then even farther out of sight until it's gone. You may be alone, but just say maybe further down the lake, out of sight, and further down the lake, out of sight of them, and so on and so on and so on around this whole great big body of water, so vast. Just say someone else and someone else and someone else, just like you had paused and taken a stone, something meant to be given away, held it out over the water and let it go. Even though you didn't see them, at some point the story of their ripple, right, that left behind would also find yours. So even though we may not see what's around us, the impact or the thing that began those ripples reaching out, there is a sense of connectedness. They do come across each other at some point. Breath steady. Still your light. And before you move on, just sit with it for a little while. You can stay in thought. Maybe sit down on that dock, dangle your feet into the water and create your own ripples. Or maybe after a few breaths, you tuck the chin to the chest and you get ready to open your eyes and step back into the world a little lighter than when you sat or laid down.